class, I will be doing that Bollywood number that I talked about yesterday. It is going to be mucho fun. Provided I can remember everything, which is always a toss-up. Okay, we got shoes, we got water, and we got dongle. So, I opened up my Super Nintendo controller because for years the L and R buttons were broken. It's actually a pretty simple fix. You just have to actually super glue these. See, the L button is supposed to go there, hit this button, and there's a piece that goes right here that is broken, so it caves in up here. It's supposed to be like this, but then when that breaks, this is just kind of loose, and then your L button kind of just sags in at the top here. This controller's been broken for years, and now that I've opened it up, it's a fairly simple fix, so let's fix it. That is, if the super glue actually holds. We shall see. Okay, it seems the controller's working so far. Let's see if all the buttons work. L and R's fix, buttons work, controller's nice and clean. I think that was a overall positive move. So these controllers have kind of been through the ringer. My brother and I were playing games one time and we had been eating pineapples, so we had this bowl just filled with pineapple juice, and then something happened in the game and I threw the controller. It wasn't even like an angry throw, it's like something, I don't know what happened. It flipped out of my hand and went right into the bowl of pineapple juice. Who would have thought that that would affect the responsiveness of the buttons? Certainly not me. But after cleaning that controller yesterday and having these buttons be so responsive, I was like, oh, I forgot that's what the controllers are supposed to be like. So we're gonna clean all of them. You know, just for the fun of it, let's look at all of the controllers that I own. So this isn't exactly complete, but this is a lot of my controllers. Most systems I have 4 controllers so that you can do multiplayer and all that stuff. A couple of standouts. This Dreamcast controller is one of the few third-party ones I own, because the regular Dreamcast controller is so bad, I felt like, well, if I'm gonna be buying a bad controller, I might as well buy a cheap bad controller. Wow, Dreamcast. You had your problems, and your controller was one of them. The original Xbox Duke controller was a beast, and I actually modded it so that you could play it on the PC as well. But unfortunately on Windows 10 you can't even do that anymore, so now it's just kind of useless. But this was good for Halo, but that was about it. And this right here is the Smash Brothers version of the GameCube controller. It's got a logo there, but I actually ordered 4 of these, and then I realized that I'm being a crazy person because I was like, this is probably the last chance I'll get to buy new GameCube controllers. And I was like, don't be a crazy person, just get one of them. So I returned the other 3. But I was actually right, because these are worth quite a bit of money now. There's better ways to make money though, so no regret over that. It's time to eat lunch. What are we gonna eat? The same thing we do every day, Pinky. Ooh, there's an orange here though. Oh! That's an orange. You know what I always find kind of a strange proposition is talking about what you do and why you do it, because you do something and you have a reason for it until you don't have a reason for it and you don't do it anymore. You guys know that I'm not shy about telling you what I think and why I'm doing this and why I'm doing that. And all of these things, they're reasoned out to an extent, and I have reasons for everything that I do, But I always am changing what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And then sometimes like the intel that I have is bad intel. So it's like, it seems to make sense to me based on the knowledge I have. And then later you find out that doesn't make any sense at all. Because my point is that you can analyze yourself all you want, but you can't fundamentally know all the reasons why you do anything. So in the end, we're all kind of fluid in the reasons and the things that we do. If that makes sense. Lights on! You know what is one of the most unproductive things you can say is, it's not my fault. If there's one character flaw that I have had in my life that I would like to improve, is to not want to take responsibility for bad things happening and like being afraid of dealing with the consequences of making a mistake. So always trying to say like, oh, it's not my fault. Oh, it's somebody else's responsibility or whatever. Although in the case of Thomas's bumper, that was not my fault. I was operating the camera. I was not guiding him driving. I don't know why anybody expected me to tell him what he was supposed to be doing. Nonetheless, if something goes wrong, what I'm really striving to get towards is to figure out a solution and not put any blame on other people or try to abdicate responsibility and just be like, yo, how can I make this work? What can I do to contribute to the situation? Although I feel like it's the most natural thing in the world to not want to be blamed for something that wasn't your fault. Oh, funny story actually. When I worked as a waiter for 2 weeks, there was this boss who was just like the worst. And I was just like, man, maybe these bosses are just like this, because it was my first actual job. And one time I was just standing there, minding my own business, and it's weird how these managers, they always want you to like look busy or do something. I'm like, there's nothing to do right now. Anyways, she was like, does this plate belong here? And rather than giving her some excuse or saying, I don't know, it had nothing to do with me. I was like, well, I'll take it. So I just picked it up and I took it away. I later found out that she got fired because she was such a bad boss. But I remember thinking to myself, is this how you treat your employees? Like, is this any way to engender hard work from them? The answer is no. So tonight, I'm going to my buddy Brennan's house. We are gonna play Secret of Mana? Yes, Secret of Mana. One thing I've always been kind of bad at is using the in-between time. I'm gonna go over to his house in like an hour and a half, but in this time, it's not like enough time to like start any work. It's not really enough time to get into any entertaining stuff. It's only really good for like wasting time on the internet, and I don't feel like doing that at all. But like back when I was in school, I used to purposefully not schedule classes so that there was one in the morning and one at night, because then your like whole day you're just waiting for that hammer to drop of that next class. So anyway, interstitial time. Never know what to do with myself. Okay, it's time to go. Looking forward to it. Getting hungry. Looking forward to dinner. Wow, this is nice. You can definitely tell that the seasons are changing because it's actually still daylight when I'm going to his house. Usually it's like dark by the time I get here. But it's time to teach it. It's time to teach a Zumba class. I will be doing